Pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag.
The United States of America,
America.
To
to the republic
for which it stands,
To stand.
one nation, under God,
Under God.
indivisible.
for
Indivisible.
liberty and justice.
liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Seating of alternates. We have two. Rich is not here tonight, and neither is John, because I didn't hear him.
John
sign.
is on.
Oh, John is.
John Stone is on.
Okay. In that case, we have room to seat one alternate. I'll take a motion to seat either Grace or Paul.
I take a motion to seek Grace.
Motion by Kwame to seat Grace. Second, please.
John second.
All those in favor? Excuse me, discussion?
Aye.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bev?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Public comment.
Mr. Chairman, Stefan Bohuniak, I have some public comment.
Sure.
I want to start by saying great job to all of you guys for going through the very difficult and arduous process of crafting a budget, especially in times like these. I know how difficult it is in normal times, so you guys deserve a lot of praise for getting a good budget in on time this year. So thank you for that. And then secondly, it's a little different. I am not one to make personal attacks, particularly as it comes to town business. However, something so beyond the pale has occurred, and it makes me really need to speak. Mr. Wedowitz, who is an alternate on this board, has yesterday shared something so disgusting on Facebook that it shouldn't even really be brought up. And I would understand if it was a one-time thing, Paul, but this is a pattern with you going back a while, ever since I've known you. I believe that you should not be serving in the town. I believe that you should resign. And if you do not resign, I would call on the chairman and the members of this board to not ever seat this man as an alternate. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. In that regard, I am not aware of anything, only because I do not participate in social media, and this is an issue that I will get with Kurt on to get some background as to what's the genesis of all of this discussion. Any other public comment?
Kwame Dunbar, I'd like to add to Stefan's comment. I saw the post, and I don't think there's any place for that in our Board of Finance. It was really disgusting, and I'm disappointed to see that someone on our board posted that. And I agree with what else Stefan said.
Okay. Any other public comment? Okay, hearing none. Public comment going once. Public comment going twice. Public comment going 3 times. Public comment is closed. Next topic on the agenda, approval of the minutes from our last month's meeting, May 26, 2020. Monica distributed them. I'm hoping everybody's had a chance to read them. If there are no discussion points on, I'll take a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. Jim Fertel.
Thank you. Second, please.
John Stone second.
Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Chair votes aye. Thank you. Okay, report from the Finance Director. Doug, you're on.
Okay, I did a little some figures from the First Selectman who wants constant projections of how the end of the year will end up. And so I wrote a couple paragraphs in our report there. We're showing that the revenues is a big problem and that it comes up short $902,000. This is because of use of fund balance, $225,000, school grant shortage, $210,000, tax collections, $188,000, recreation because of COVID, $112,000, and assessments are down $97,000. On the good news portion, the expenditures are way down, and we look to have a surplus of almost $843,000. So that only shows a net shortage of $60,000, which has gotten a lot better. The Board of Ed is showing a range of $290,000 to $441,000 surplus. Sherry wants to be sure that this is communicated that this is all due to COVID-19. The kids haven't been in school for the last 3 months, and so they've had a lot of savings in those areas. And then as far as other areas for us, the general government has a surplus of $100,000, public works $58,000, recreation $102,000, and then the rest is just other departments. The training on the new software is going fairly well. We got it up and everybody has been trained on it. We're just looking to go live in July, August. We'll be running parallel during July as much as we can. And otherwise, it looks pretty good. Any questions?
Doug, I've got one comment. I would ask that you plan on running parallel at least through the end of October, because 2 months is certainly not enough with a brand new system to get any kind of a feel. And God forbid something would crash, not work right, because this thing is all new. This thing is all new to everybody.
Yeah.
And October 31st, let's see where we are. If everything is comfortable and transactions and using POs and budgeting and all are going okay, then I would you wouldn't have to do parallel. You can just go the single system and keep going. But you cannot cut this thing off after July. After August, I'm sorry, because that's too soon. And October may be too soon, because it's usually common that I've run into municipalities that change systems. They run parallel minimum 6 months, because they have to make sure that all the bugs are out and the results that are coming out of the machine are the results that are expected and that should come out. So let's see where we get with this in October. If we need to go till November into December, fine. If not, well, we can make a decision at that point. The other question I have, I made a couple notes. Are we as a town dealing with any type of applications or state funding or reimbursements because of COVID?
Yes, we've designated any COVID expenses, and we put those into a separate account, and we will be applying for FEMA reimbursement, and then the state is also making up for the difference between FEMA, what FEMA would reimburse us for COVID. So we have those off to the side. I'm working with Tom Amy to apply for the FEMA funds and the state fund.
Okay, because FEMA's not reimbursable until, FEMA can't be recorded as a receivable until they, meaning FEMA, approve their worksheet when it's sent into them with the amounts. Okay. So keep that in mind when you're closing down June, that FEMA has a worksheet of expenditures, but until they bless the numbers, the town does not have a receivable. Okay. And I can't say what the the position of the state is. If they're dependent upon FEMA, if they interrelate, then there may not be anything to record, but you have to find that out from the state for sure. Because that, I'm sure, will be a decent sized number, but it has to be a valid number in terms of being applicable to putting it down as being owed from somebody. Okay. Any other comments or anything to direct
I had a
towards-
couple questions, John.
Sure. Go ahead, John.
First one is on the recreation for the project or projection shortages, revenue, and the expenditures. Is that pretty much a wash? Because there's 112 for the revenue projections that were short, and 102,000 for expenditure surplus. Is that because of programs that were canceled and people that had not signed up for the usual programs in which revenues would be taken?
Yeah, both those deficit and shortfall is because of COVID. Recreation has been shut down. They have not had any classes. The building is closed. So all of that is because of COVID. They may start some things up in summer, but that's still being decided.
Okay. And my second question is on the special duty reimbursements, where we stand on that. Is there a report or something that we can have at the next meeting to see if there's any progress on that?
Sure. We gave one out last meeting. I'll resend that one to you, and then we can put another one together for the next meeting.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Doug, I would ask, and I think we mentioned this 2 meetings ago, that the board would like to know where we stand in terms of an open receivable at each time we have our meeting. Last month you sent just the deposit ticket and a list of the deposits of who made up the deposit. We need and want to know who owes us money as of our meeting. And what's the aging on it? Is it all current? Is it 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, whatever?
Okay.
All right. Any other comments comments or questions to the finance director?
Nope.
Hearing none. I don't believe we'll have comments from the first selectman because the selectmen are meeting tonight, so I'm assuming he'll be there. Next item on the agenda, number 8, transfer requests, which were sent out by Doug. Chief Sadkowski is on the line, and he is looking to move money out of uniform police line item to the machinery and equipment for the purchase of 2 vehicles. The vehicles come off the state bid list. Chief, I'll turn it over to you to give a brief explanation, please.
Sure, thank you. Paul Sadkowski, Chief of Police, Seymour Police Department speaking. So this evening I come before you on behalf of the Board of Police Commissioners and obviously the Police Department in my office. We're seeking a transfer of $98,500 from the 110 account to purchase 2 vehicles, and that would go into the 7745 account. So this transfer was approved by the Board of Police Commissioners at their last week's meeting, June 17, 2020, and I believe you have the paperwork in front of you signifying that. During the budget process, we requested 3 vehicles, and then those were cut from the process, obviously due to financial constraints. But as we've done in the past, there was discussion about if there's any money remaining at the end of the year, we would request that the transfer to purchase 2 vehicles or whatever we could, realizing that the economy and everything we've been through, we feel 2 vehicles is sufficient at this time, and would obviously meet our needs for replacement of vehicles in the future. The cars, we'll order them if these are approved, and then obviously, whenever they are ready and to be transported, then we would upfit them also to get them ready for patrol.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for the chief on the transfer? This is, historically, this is something the sport has done usually every June. And our next year's budget, as he said, and we approved, does not contain provisions for any vehicles. So we have a chance to get them off the state bid list, just like we've done in past years. Any questions for the chief on this transfer?
I had one. Is that for 3 cars then, the 98.5?
2.
No.
To be 2.
Because I thought I saw on one of the sheets that the cost was $33,000 per car.
That was one. That was for one vehicle priced out, and then the second one was a little higher. And then obviously the outfit for those vehicles, it comes out to about that amount there that we asked for.
Okay.
Other
Okay.
questions? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's because they have to do the detailing and everything else on the cars. There's another paperwork attached, John, if you read it, okay?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Thank you, Beth. Any
All
other,
right.
any other questions for the chief?
Nope.
If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the transfer.
I'll make a motion. That's
Second.
Kennedy.
And who seconded it? I didn't hear.
Me, Grace.
Okay, thanks, Grace. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Chair votes aye. Thank you, chief.
Thank you all very much for your assistance and support in improving this transfer. Thank you.
You.
Our next item up is a transfer of within town buildings. Tim Connors, the building director, is here, so I will toss it over to him and he can explain what's going on. Tim?
Hi, everybody. How are you? Actually, usually Tony Caserta handles this aspect. He asked me to sit in on the meeting. He was supposed to be here, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I am here.
Oh, okay, there you are.
All right, Tony.
You want to take it over and then I can answer any questions?
Okay, sure. You know, during this year, we had a series of events that occurred, and usually they involve problems with either the plumbing or the HVAC system. And unfortunately, most of the times these things occurred during the weekends or during the holidays. We've had a series of expenses where if you look through the sheets attached, you'll see a bunch of vendors that we use for plumbing and for the HVAC systems, for our sprinkler systems. There's also 2 vendors there, and we have general contracts with them, and also we have repairs that they do that are over and above the contract. This year, we've had problems with the boiler down at the community center. We've had problems with the diesel, the gas for the heating fuel down at the community center. We've had a series of problems at the 98 Bank Street. We've had pipes frozen down there. We've had HVAC problems. What happens with these buildings is once we start getting into it, the problems turn out to be a lot bigger than what we expected. A lot of the pipes on there are pretty much from the original vintage. When some of them start to fail, you know, we patch it, do the best we can to keep it going, but we also know that eventually the other pipes are going to have the same issues. So we do what we can. We keep our fingers crossed. With the community center, we had to struggle a little bit in terms of how we wanted to approach the repairs. We were in the midst of trying to get a new community center. We didn't see any real merit into putting extensive repairs into the building, but we did do as much patchwork as we could. Also, even though the expenses are a lot higher, we've had our own custodial staff do a lot of the work in the buildings. Generally, they do this on the weekends when nobody's there. Alex has repaired thermostats. He did a really extensive rewiring job at the police station. There were times when they had to go out and get parts for the boilers. They had to stay and actually monitor the boilers over a cold snap during the winter. So we've had our series of events there. Also at the library, during the course of the year, there were repairs to the system, which necessitated us to close down the lower floor. And what we had to do was move their programs over to the community center. So actually, I'm getting into the overtime too. That occurred over time because we had to have people there on the weekends. So I mean, that's generally what it is. Most of our problems occur at the community center, 98 Bank Street. We've had some issues where we just recently replaced some of the HVAC systems down at Public Works, and we're in the process of getting those. We kind of roll those into a program that we've got going now. But prior to that, the systems failed and we had to repair them.
I guess that's what happens when you deal with old buildings. Okay. Any questions for Tony or for Tim, the building director?
No, I just have a question on the transfer itself. Bill,
On the what? I'm sorry.
transfer itself. This is Deb Kennedy. Is
Yep.
there a control number for this transfer? Because I didn't see one.
Number 2.
No, number 2 was the.
Two is the
police-
police department.
Right.
Oh, this is number 1, sorry. There's only 2.
Okay, I know, but it wasn't on my sheet, so I didn't know what the number was. Also,
It's not printing out.
I'm questioning the second part of this transfer where it has repairs and maintenance from the police department. Those account numbers, that account number is incorrect. It should be 420, okay, and not 410. And do we do that on a transfer? Doesn't that have to be on a separate transfer? To take something from another department?
This is all the same department. The department number is 510.
510, it says 410 on mine.
Oh,
Mine it says 510.
the department number is the last 3 from the
Okay,
final 3.
okay, but what is it? Okay, all right.
410 is the
Okay.
general fund, correct, Doug?
Yeah, that's the function code.
Okay. So are you taking that out of repairs and maintenance of the police department?
Yeah, last year, the Board of Finance moved police buildings repairs and maintenance and fire repairs and maintenance buildings into the town buildings budget. And so what happened was police had some extra funds left over, and the fire department is short the amount you see there. So that's what the transfer's for.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for an approval of the transfer.
This is Jim. I make a motion to approve the transfer.
Second, please. So there is no motion there is no second to the motion?
Anybody else hear you?
I'll second.
Grace, you second?
Mhm.
Okay. Motion and seconded, Jim and Grace. Discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor of the transfer, approving it, please say aye.
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 I'll abstain, Beverly.
Okay. Those opposed? Chair votes aye.
Beverly.
Yep, we got it, Bev. Chair votes aye.
Okay.
Okay. All righty, next up, new business. I do not have anything to add for new business. Does anyone else? Everything seems to be running fairly smoothly, I think, and I hope. Moving on to item 10, correspondence. No one has written anything to me. And has anybody else received any kind of correspondence?
No.
No.
Okay. Brings us all to number 11, adjournment. It is 7:47. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn, John.
Second, please.
I'll second it, Jim Curtello.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? Chair votes aye. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next month.